This is the serious concern for the Toronto Raptors, as the team essentially did nothing to start off a free agency. And while we knew Masai Ujiri wouldn't be in a rush, we already got the Scottie Barnes, Immanuel Quickley extensions incoming. But Gary Trent Jr. is still not brought back and is an asset that could be walking for nothing. And Bobby Webster had some concerning comments regarding Gary Trent Jr.'s future, and we missed out on a couple of key free agents that would have been really nice fits for the Toronto Raptors being a rebuilding squad. So we're going to recap day one of free agency, what it really means for the Toronto Raptors, and where we're going to go from here, because I still predict trades incoming in the coming weeks, but the fact that the Toronto Raptors were not in a rush, weren't able to close on any of these deals, they missed out on some opportunities that would have been perfect to build forward this future. But if you want to stay up to date with everything regarding this Toronto Raptors team, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. If you're a part of the 48% that haven't hit the subscribe button just yet, make sure you do that so you stay up to date with everything regarding this team. But let's dive into the news, because yesterday, before we dive into specifically the Gary updates, I was pretty sad because the one guy I was interested in acquiring in free agency was this guy, Jalen Smith. I made a video on him yesterday, the day before, but free agent center Jalen Smith has agreed to a 3-year, $27 million contract with the Chicago Bulls, sources tell ESPN. Smith's agents reached a deal with the Bulls front office overnight. So looking at this is something I am pretty cheesed about. I am pretty frustrated because, again, Jalen Smith fit all the boxes in terms of the type of free agent I wanted the Toronto Raptors to go after, have an opportunity to bring in during the offseason. Because first, we can look at his stats, what he's able to do as a basketball player. 10 points per game, close to 6 rebounds, 1 assist per night, shot 42% from behind the three-point line. Yes, he's not a crazy shot creator in the sense that he's, off the dribble pull-up threes, but shoots 42% from the corners as well. Is only 24 years old, is 6'10", shoots 59% from the field, and is playing behind guys like Pascal Siakam, Obi Toppin, different players, and putting up this level of stats. This is a guy I was very intrigued by, with the mid-level exception for the Toronto Raptors to bring in. He's exactly that Scottie Barnes, RJ Barrett, Immanuel Quickley age, and given that potential, as a floor spacing 3 points shooter, potentially could get some blocks per game if he was given more opportunities, more run. I looked at Jalen Smith as a guy that would have been a perfect acquisition for the Toronto Raptors in this offseason. And frankly, based off the fact they were slow moving, in the sense that, they didn't get a Bruce Brown deal done. If it's going to happen, Bruce Brown has indicated he's comfortable, he's happy coming back to the Toronto Raptors next season if these deals don't go down. But the fact that they didn't make one of these moves over the past 5 days forces them to miss out on players like Jalen Smith. Jonas Valanciunas is only making $10 million per year. I know we're loaded at the center position. He's not as much of a need as a Jalen Smith, but Jalen Smith at $9 million over 3 seasons? That's a steal. And the Raptors are in a much better position, are a much more attractive destination than the Chicago Bulls, who are going to be I don't know what the Bulls are doing right now. So I am frustrated that that's the price Jalen Smith went for, and we just couldn't jump into the sweepstakes. We couldn't pick up on this guy because we still have our unfinished business yet to deal with here now. So unfortunate misses from Masai Ujiri to sort of start off this offseason. But basically, we have more concerns to sort of look forward at now for this Raptors team, based off the fact we didn't make moves. And that big one is regarding Gary Trent Jr., who we have a couple of basically updates, regarding that whole situation. So Doug Smith has come out from the Toronto Star saying the Raptors are never going to be major players in the free agent market as the festivities began on Sunday night. They sat quietly on the sidelines, content to wait and shop for the future, seemingly content with a growing younger roster that they hope matures on its own. Toronto did not make any splash, as we know, or an attempt to resign Gary Trent Jr., who can offer his skills to any suitor now at this point. And Doug Smith went on to say in this article, essentially, that Gary Trent Jr. doesn't really fit with this team, so it makes sense that the Raptors didn't make a hard push to try and bring back Gary, to try and make these moves go down, because frankly, the Toronto Raptors can't. And this is why I've been of the mindset of the expectation that when we picked up Bruce Brown's trade option, that a trade would be imminent. So we would not let the Gary Trent Jr. asset walk for nothing in free agency. Because, Gary Trent Jr. is a good basketball player, and the Raptors are not in a position to let someone 14 points per game, 2.6 rebounds, 1.7 assists, shooting 40% from the three-point line at 25 years old. We are not in a position where we get to pick and choose, where we get to say, hey, we can let assets, we can let pieces walk for nothing. And I keep bringing up this quote from Bobby Webster saying, hey, the Toronto Raptors are going to get better. They're going to be put in the right position because they are going to make the right decisions. Not one big swing, as Doug Smith, as we all knew coming. We weren't getting Paul George or one of these big names, but the Toronto Raptors have to make 8 to 10 really good moves over the next 2 years to get back into that contention status. And, maybe not contention, but mid-tier playoff where we want to be to take that jump, to get to a step above where we're currently at. And letting Gary Trent Jr. walk for nothing, getting no assets for him back whatsoever. And again, a guy like that, we got serious return for Jalen McDaniels. And the fact that we're going to let Gary Trent Jr. walk for nothing is a very, very concern if it ends up being the case. And the longer Bruce Brown's on the roster means the more opportunities Gary has in unrestricted free agency to go to some different teams and stuff like that. And the Raptors don't have the mid-level, so the Jalen Smiths of the world, the Gary Trent Jr.'s of the world, they become impossible for the Toronto Raptors to sign. The longer this happens, the more we're just going to be losing good pieces for absolutely nothing. So that is a big, big concern in my eyes. This is being dragged out. This is being left on. And Bobby Webster did speak out regarding this situation, saying that you want to be strategic about what's tradable, what's not tradable, and we have some big contracts coming up for the future. So it'll just have to be something that makes sense for everyone. So what this means to me, what this indicates to myself, the subtext to this quote, maybe I'm reading too much into it. The Raptors have tried to trade Gary Trent Jr. at both the previous trade deadlines, and they just haven't been able to get the right return for a Gary Trent Jr. package. It's just the reality of it for whatever reason, despite the fact he's a good three-point shooter, has shown flashes as a really good defender, can do other things out there on the basketball court. The Raptors just feel like that they can't trade Gary Trent Jr. They feel like he's not that valuable of a piece. So that indicates to me, especially with how this offseason has played out, that they're just going to let Gary Trent Jr. walk for nothing. That paired alongside Doug Smith's sort of reporting there, I believe Gary Trent Jr. is going to be gone. I would happily be wrong. I don't want an asset to walk for nothing, but I like Gary Trent Jr.'s game. I like him as fit into this team. But again, with Jakob Poeltl, with Gradey Dick, with the Ochai Agbaji, those three guys seem like the shooting guards that the Raptors are locked in on the bench. Davion Mitchell's more the backup point guard. I think he's going to get some run, as well as Jalen Shed. So Jamal Shed. That's Jalen. Too many Jalen's in this video and formerly on this team. But I just expect Gary Trent Jr. to be gone right now with how free agency is played out, and it sucks. And essentially the subtext there, too, they indicate that Bruce Brown is a guy the Raptors would be able to trade. At 11 points per game, a little bit older, is more proven as a role player on a competitive team, and obviously is an expiring contract. And we just saw what the Jalen McDaniels expiring contract was able to provide. Out there in the open market, we got 2 solid second-round picks and 2 solid NBA contributors. But the Raptors, there's no world we're entering, the soft cap, much less the hard cap, but with the current state of where this team is in. But with Bruce Brown on the roster, and again, if Bruce Brown's brought back, I'm not going to be yelling or frustrated or whatever, but the Raptors are handcuffed with this Bruce Brown contract picked up. Maybe they're looking for the trade deadline to really make some moves happen, but we'll see. We'll see in the coming weeks if this deal ends up going down and the Masai acting fast. There's still a ton of free agents out there left on the board. Little minor moves that the Toronto Raptors can make to retool, to readjust this roster, but let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section down below. How are you feeling about the Toronto Raptors really standing pat to open up free agency? Let me know. But folks, you guys are the best to make this far. Subscribe to the channel. I'm signing out. Cheers.